You jazzy. You everything a man could ever want. Girl, you jazzy. You not about that drama. You loyal and classy. You jazzy. And all these other niggas shoot the shot, but you ain't have it. Girl, you jazzy. And I love you to the moon.
Hi, this is your girl Jaszy Mango, and welcome to the Red Carpet Lounge. I'm sitting here chilling with my girl, Miss Raven Paris. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy that you finally came. I know our schedules is so crazy. We finally got to mishmash, and having girls together is definitely important. So what have you been up to?
So, for this past summer, I was actually in New York.
Okay, shout out to New York.
Shout out to New York. I am now a part of the Ween Academy. So, what the Ween Academy is, it stands for Women Entertainment Empowerment Network. So, basically provides the blueprint for women of color in the industry. So it just connects you to a whole network of women who are like-minded like us, whether you're into marketing, advertising, PR, on air, event planning. Literally, they break down all the different components, production, and they just give you the skills. It's kind of like it's a hard 4-week crash course based on everything.
Awesome.
But it shapes you. So that's what I've been doing in there. And then, of course, I got to still get back to the radio thing because I'm on 92Q, DTLR. Then I do my events. So this summer has just been like...
full force for you.
But, yeah.
So how did you end up meeting up with like Angela Yee? How did that all work out? And how was that experience?
Fire. So when you're in the Ween Academy, they have so many different contexts and networks. So Angela Yee is actually one of the friends of our founders, and she was one of our professors. So when she came in to teach us during my favorite week, which was on air week, she came in and we had to create a radio show and reiterate a television show and all that cool stuff. And then I ended up asking, because we also had to do a shadow day while we were out there. So we had different homework assignments and different projects, and one of them was shadow day. You have to basically find your own job though. So while she was in there, I used my 30-second pitch. Like, they're really big on your pitch. You don't know who you're going to come across, what stakeholder, so you need to be ready. And I asked her, could I come in shadow? And she was like, yeah, definitely. Come in on Monday, 6 a.m. It's not even clocking in my head, like, wait.
I'm about to really be ready. That's what I was thinking.
This is doing Breakfast Club hours. So I went, and I wouldn't even say, honestly, that I shadowed her. I feel like I shadowed Power 105 as a whole.
Makes sense.
Because, for one, they were on air, so we can't be really in the studio while they're in there filming. Now they have the ball. So with the interns that was there, they were showing us around. We got a tour to go upside and to be revolt. It's so much that go on during pre-show, after, pre-post that no one ever get to see. We got to actually meet the other personalities, the other DJs, like DJ Sus, and it was just, I got shadowed by Power 105. Everyone was pouring into me different ways, so that was an amazing experience, and I was able to lock in a lot of good contacts out there too.
And for you to like break that down is so important because you know even when this show airs, like people just think it's just so simple, like you just sit down. It's so much that goes into it, everything, like, you know, the marketing that goes along, the editing that goes along, the photography, like it is so much, and especially you being in a studio in a radio station, like it's sound check, it's like you know certain, and luckily for them, you can kind of curse and say certain things because I know when I went to SUNY Plattsburgh and then the New School of Radio and Television. And I know, like, being in the back, like, you couldn't curse, you couldn't do, like, news is completely different than entertainment. You gotta have your hair a certain way, like, everything is, like, strict.
On point.
It has to be on point.
Can't be thugging it like
I was like, you know what, news ain't for me. Like, I'm too fly for this, I can't do it all.
And they always say, I learned, we also went to NBC.
Okay.
So what I learned is, it's easier for a personality to go from news to entertainment as to entertainment to news.
Absolutely.
Because the structure is so different.
It's so different. You have to do like your voice sides and then you have to write the production. And like people don't get it. Like people think you just come up with anything and you just wing everything.
It's accurate down to the T on time, especially with breaking news. Like everything has to be so precise.
And what made you get into radio? Like, were you always like this social butterfly in school? Did you always like the drama and the gossip and who's marrying who and who, you know, like what made you get into it?
Sad to say, I'm actually not into that part.
Okay.
But I enjoy talking and I enjoy being around people. Now it's like I kind of like try to stay low key because I'm always around people for my job. But in school, I was always the socialite. I always knew the popping people. I didn't do anything other than just be myself. Right. So that part kind of came organically, but I also had family that was in the industry, so it wasn't too far reach. Right. So Jay Claxton, he's been with 92Q forever. That's my little cousin's father, so I grew up watching him go back and forth to the radio station often. And I wanted to go, but I was too little. Right. And then when you're in school, they don't really teach you about at all the entertainment stuff, you know? But my family said no, I wanted to do it. I wanted to go to school for communications, but mom was like, girl, once you graduate, then what you gonna do?
Okay.
Like, no.
Yeah.
So what I had to do, I had to change my major. So it just goes to show, like, when you're aligned in purpose, it's going to always find its way to you. Absolutely. So my brother heard of WPB. They were looking for different radio personalities, and he sent it to me and gave me the contact information. Shout out to Joy. And I contact Joy. I let her know what I want to have my show about. She loved it. And from there, I had to do a campaign. I did a photo shoot. I got flyers printed. I did promotion. I really utilized my social media platform. And then after my first show aired, I had over 250 people tune in my first night. Wow. And that's huge. That is. I didn't have no radio experience, no radio training, no nothing. I just had a voice and I had a vision. And growing up, I used to always call 92Q. You couldn't get through. The line was always busy. So it's like, and
now I'm there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wanted to be able to create that for the artists around here, because internet radio been around for years, but it wasn't really popping. Right. It wasn't popping.
And now it's like the thing. Like nobody's listening to the dial tone. Like nobody's listening to the dial. It's on the phone. You either got your title or you know what I mean, internet radio. Yeah. You know, you said something a little while ago. You said you got on being yourself. Right. Like that kind of really touched me because it's important, especially this day and age with so many social media and just women, because you're big on women empowerment, and so am I. And just women, we never feel great about ourselves. And watching other people, there's always something we can change. And really, people like us for being us. People like Raven for being Raven. And, you know, did it take you a long time to get to that place, or you kind of always knew who you were?
I feel like I feel like I'm not even who I was last year, 5 years ago, you know, so it's always levels to becoming who you are, but in that time frame of those levels, I was always the best me at that moment. And I've always known, like, I always knew, like, athletes, I always knew dancers, I always knew rappers and singers. It's just like, are you into sports? Are you into this? I'm like, no, I'm just a student. Like, so, like, I knew all these people, and just by being myself. Like, I was a socialite. I was in college. I was working at Dubai. Shout out to Tracy. She's the first lady that ended up giving me money, put money in my pocket. And I just was working in the clubs. I was a host. So, like, when people came in, you knew people doing that. Then I met people by being, originally I was supposed to have went to Delaware State. I ended up having to come home, but I didn't want to go to CCBC because that would have been like 13th grade from where, like, I was from. So I ended up going to BCCC, which was in the city. So it was a city community college, so I had to learn a whole bunch of new people. Right. I had to work, and I was working in Mondawmin. So it's like, I always put myself in uncomfortable situations so I can always just build my character and learn people. Absolutely. So based on that, me being in school, me being in the clubs, me being just out with my friends, who I grew up with, I was able to build relationships, and I just remained myself. And me being comfortable within who I am, I never like really compared myself to people. I don't know if that was something that maybe like my family installed in me. I was surrounded by love, and I'm in the family full of like aunts, like 6 or 7 of them. Okay, so it's a lot of family. So they always installed love into me. You give love, you get love, and I just always be confident. And of course, like you said, we battle with flaws, and we always feel like we got to compare ourselves, and we don't feel good enough. But based on me being around so many strong women, I think that was always instilled in me. Right. So I just was able to remain true to myself.
And, you know, speaking of strong women, I want to go because you have an amazing event that's coming up this week. And I just want to know, like, how did that come about? How did you even get into doing event planning? Because, you know, you just doing so much. And planning an event is no joke. Like, first of all, having a radio show is no joke. But it's like, okay, we kind of got people here. Planning an event, people cancel on you late night. Like, you know, it's just so much that goes into it. How did you get started with that?
Into events? So like I said, I worked in the clubs and I did stuff like that. So being around events was not something that was unfamiliar. But it wasn't until 2015 once I started doing radio and I had access to all these different people, PRs, bloggers, videographers, and different radio stations. And it's like, wait. In Atlanta, they have an industry. In LA, they have an industry. In New York, they have an industry. In Baltimore, we don't have that. But we have all the different components that can make an industry, but we don't have that. And I have the connections to everybody.
Right.
So the first event I decided to put together was the DMA, the DMV Media Alliance. So it was a first seminar that allowed all of the powerhouses to come together and just be a powerhouse for artists. So it was all you can eat, all you can drink. I had like 30 panelists. Like, I learned.
Amazing.
So I had no, but I gotta get it cut down.
You're like, all right, it's 7 hours now.
And then the first time I did it, I had a seminar and then I had a concert right after. So it just was like things running behind schedule. It's just trial and error, but the impact was still there and everyone loved it. That was the first time we had something like that happen in Baltimore. So from that, seeing the success from that, it was like, all right, bet. Now I got to do this annually. I got to keep doing it. And then how the women's event came about is I had a brunch in April, the end of April, the Women Unifying Women brunch, because my whole thing is I need to bring more engagement towards my target audience.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, my demographic that's following the most is men, and it's like, that's not for y'all. Like, it's cool that I can inspire y'all to y'all like to look at it, but this is really
put y'all on for a little bit.
Us.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm like, and I'm always like, I'm the friend that's going to tell you what it is, tell you how it is, whether you like it. I've learned to get a little better with how I say things, but I'm that outspoken friend, and I'm going to tell you about yourself, and I'm going to be there to give you that advice you need to hear, and I'm going to just be that rock. So it's like, I know I can be there for a lot of other women, and a lot of us are hurting, or a lot of us have went through different things. Like, I battle with like depression and stuff, and it's just something that we as women, we go through it. So it's like, why can't we put this out there into the universe so we can get help from all of our sisters, so we can support and uplift each other. So I came up with the Women Unifying Women's Brunch. It was an all white, and it was amazing. I had a panelist, and we touched different topics based on mental, spiritual, finances, and then I had like some performance come in between. Just, I love spoken word. Just to break sets the mood, you know. And we was able to share a lot of testimonies. We was able to do a lot of crying. We was able to do a lot of laughing. We was able to do a lot of drinking. Cheers, because it was all you can eat, all you can drink. So based on the good, I got a lot of good feedback based on that event, and a lot of women like, why don't you do another, like a longer one? You have a sleepover. And I'm like, wait, I never thought about that. And I partnered up with Sierra, because Sierra Leone, shout out to her. She was like, I love the vision. I would love to help be a part. I'm like, all right, cool. How about we partner up and get 4 of us and actually just all do it together? Because I won't really be able to put a retreat together
by yourself. Yes.
Realistically, that won't happen. So, myself, my best friend, Nelly, she owns a Lust to Love store, which is an adult shop, but also it has clothing and then all the other things that cater to us physically. And then I have Sade, she's really big in meditation. And then I have Sierra Leone, she's like a spiritual healer. And then you have me, who's just like that voice and empowerment for women. So we came up with the Women Unifying Women's Retreat, which is going to be on August 25th to August 26th. And it's at a mansion in Bowie. I'm all about experiences. So it was like, all right, cool, I did this brunch. So now what's going to be different about this one? So I'm like, all right, bet, we doing it at a mansion. So I found the mansion in Bowie. It's still all you can eat, all you can drink. We're giving away, we're doing like a makeup giveaway. We're giving away massages. We have for brunch, we have like salmon and waffles, and we have shrimp and grits and eggs and fruits. And then for dinner, we're doing like Cajun pasta and seafood pasta and bread. And then the next day, we're doing complimentary Is that how you say it? Complimentary breakfast? Like we said, yeah. So you can come and then make your own food at that point.
So you're like, all right, we cater to God. Come on.
But we're supplying everything there so you can get that full experience. There's 7 different activities that will be taking place. We're gonna start the day off with cocktail hour. Then we're gonna have the Women Unified Women's Brunch, and then we're gonna go into Conversations by Sierra Leone. So the first time I experienced that with her is basically it's like journal entry. A lot of us, that's very therapeutic. Yes. A lot of people don't know that. Yes. And if you actually jot down how you're feeling, you're able to write it down. You're able to pick out exactly what you're feeling and understanding it. So whether you write in your phone, whether you write in your journals, that's the moment where we basically share our journal entries with one another, and we're able to talk about it, ask questions, get feedback, and it feels so therapeutic. And when I was going through what I was going through last year, that was the first time I shared my notes and stuff with people. I was going through like a breakup, and I was really sad and coming out of like my depression and sadness about it, and me sharing that with other women and them like being able to relate to it, it was so therapeutic. Yeah. So Sierra's doing that, and then we have the mini launch pad with Becca. Becca, she keeps us on track. So Becca, she's in charge of like all entrepreneurs, making sure that your goals are being met financially, just so you can make sure you're on track regarding what you want to do for your, if you want to do monthly goals or yearly goals, whatever. So that's her business, and then we're going to go into sexercise. So we're going to add the physical part, and so you're trying to get your abs right, trying to get your booty right. Okay, we're going to do that with Jasmine.
So you could be up there with like Sierra.
Exactly. Okay, go up.
Yes.
And then we're going to go into, we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to go into the empowered, I'm going to just say vagina workshop. So that's going to be with my best friend from Lust to Love. So she's really big on just, a lot of people, I feel like as women, we feel uncomfortable talking about sex.
It, right.
And it's human, it's natural, and we need to understand the power within ourselves.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand what they're capable of, especially women, until we actually get to really know ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it goes skin deep. So that's going to be that workshop. And then after that, day 2, that's day 1, then people get to go home. If you're staying for day 2, we have like an after party. Then the next day we're doing the meditation with Sade. And we have this big old deck that's in the back, and we're going to have everyone bring their mats out. And I'm not exactly how she's going to do that, because that's her specialty.
Right.
But then we're going to have a church service as well, so we're able to reflect, get a service. So it meets all the different components that we need to just heal and reflect, and then you're building a lot of relationships with a lot of different women that's in the house. So I'm so excited about it.
I am so excited
that's
about it.
That's the itinerary.
Yes,
I'm just waiting to see how it now manifests.
I will definitely be in the building.
Yes.
Thanks for the invite. Yes, I'm so excited, guys. And I really appreciate you coming to the Red Carpet Lounge, sharing all of your stories. And you know, this is not the end of the interview. This is this one, but we're gonna do another one, because I really do want to get deep into like depression and into emotions and things that we go with and we focus on every day. That, you know, talking to one another can heal us.
Yes, after the retreat.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I appreciate you again, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Jaszy Mango Red Carpet Lounge. This is my girl right now, Raven Paris, and she's just want to let you guys know all of her social media. Yes,
I have a website, theravenparis.com. And then I have my Instagram, it's Raven_Paris, Facebook, Raven Paris, Twitter, Raven Paris_. I keep everything pretty much the same. You can Google Raven Paris, and all of my stuff will pop up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love you, girl. Thank you so much for your beautiful spirit. Hey guys, it's your girl Jaszy Mango, and I just want to remind you to tune into Love Hurts. It's on the Silk White YouTube channel. Right now we got over 1 million views, y'all, so it's lit. So subscribe, and we thank all of our fans. Love y'all.
You everything a man could ever want, girl, you jazzy. You not about that drama, you loyal and classy, you jazzy. And all these other niggas shoot the shot, but you